You guys want to see this?
We did. We saw this Thursday night because Bryce couldn't wait.
Okay, cool.
He puts that on me, but he was excited and couldn't wait to see the movie too. I don't know why. It's Bryce couldn't wait.
Yeah, I was excited, but again, I wanted to sleep.
What was the movie?
Oh, because nightmares.
What was the movie where this was not teased, but where like
she appeared
first? Conjuring 2. I remember specifically when you guys were talking about Conjuring 2 after seeing Conjuring 2, he got super psyched about the prospect of them making a movie about the nun.
Mm-hmm.
So don't put that evil on Bryce, Ricky Bobby. You wanted to see this fucking movie before it was even announced that it was a movie.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
Check the tape.
I don't know why he does this. Like, you were just as excited. Absolutely.
I am.
Well, then make it clear. What Rick is trying to say is he didn't want to have nightmares.
Scared.
That's it.
Nightmares. That's all.
He didn't want
Well, you
nightmares.
didn't have to go alone at least.
That's true.
Yeah.
I wasn't going to see this alone because I would have nightmares. I would be scared to see this alone. So, yeah. Are we going to do spoilers or no spoilers?
Go for it.
Spoilers.
I mean, we'll just say spoilers. I don't know if there's a whole lot to spoil, though.
That's true.
I mean, like, we'll just see how it goes.
There may or may not be
hosting,
spoilers.
Yeah.
I feel like doing what
all right,
does,
so
I don't disturb you guys.
the movie is technically a prequel. Is this supposed to, like, in the timeline?
I mean, yeah,
this is the first
It's probably the earliest of any of the
of
movies,
the
right?
movies, I think, even before Annabelle, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, I'd have to know. Probably.
Actually, no, it would have to be in between Annabelle 1 or
Why?
Origins or whatever.
I don't know. I don't know.
Because
I don't know.
Did she show up in Annabelle Creation too? And she got pushed in the wheelchair.
Oh, people think that was probably.
People thought that was
her.
that was the nun.
So then this is the first. Then
Yeah.
this is probably the earliest in the timeline.
Okay. Anyways,
You can let us know if we're wrong. So yeah.
overall, like, this movie is fucking.
Kindoffunny.com/you're wrong.
Yeah. Let them know. They'll be like, what the fuck? Yeah. Cheesy, real quick, we're gonna do this, but like, what's with the hate? Like, are you just not a horror person, or like, do you just, I don't know. But anyways, I liked the movie. I enjoyed the movie. It wasn't what I was expecting. I mean, I already talked about that with you. I don't know what I was expecting though. This movie definitely is not like the other movies. Like the other movies are a little bit more grounded, I guess, if that makes sense. And not to say that this one isn't, because of course when you start getting into the world of like possession and like demons and stuff, people are gonna see that like, oh well, that this is a little weird. You know what I mean? I guess you can make the argument with anything like that's a ghost or a haunting, that could be kind of weird.
Yeah.
But I mean, like I told Rick, there's actually some parts of this, not in terms of comedy, but there's some parts of this movie where it's almost Evil Dead-ish, I guess. Like, it's just like, whoa, like this is just way more out there, way more like, you know what I mean? Like, they really showed like almost monstery, I guess, than if that's not
like,
even a fucking word.
Like almost like a story arc of Angel. You know, I wouldn't say Buffy because Buffy's more lighthearted. Angel's a little bit more darker.
Right. Angel's definitely way more emo.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wouldn't say emo though. I'm saying more like
I got you.
demonic, you know, and more has to do with the Catholic religion and their beliefs and.
See, that aspect has me super interested.
The whole religious part.
tip,
Then
yeah.
you would like this movie. Then.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of that, like, how do you say her name?
Thaisa Farmiga.
Yeah, she's basically plays.
Damn, right, she sounds sexy when you say that.
She plays Sister Irene, which is she's a nun, but she still hasn't taken her vows yet.
Right.
Throughout the whole movie, she and one of the priests go to this abbey to find out why one of the nuns of this abbey killed herself.
Okay.
So they're investigating that, and while they're investigating that, that's where they start, you know, and seeing the true evil, you know, that's going on in their abbey / castle.
And just to make it clear, like, that's not the movie for us. We see why she killed herself. So it's not like the movie's like, oh, why did this happen? Like, we see, like, we find out right away.
Yeah, but the fun is following the characters.
Right, of course.
Yeah.
I just want to make it clear that
discovering
that's not like the mystery of the movie.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I said, the thing that I'm saying, like, it's not a complaint. Like, I do feel like this movie could have been done in a more grounded way, like the other movies. I absolutely think it could have been done that way because I don't know how to explain it. Like, you haven't seen The Exorcist, but like The Exorcist, while yes, that
Way over the top.
it's over the top, but if you ever read about possession, like what happens in that movie is kind of what, if that is real, and there are historical accounts, whether you believe them or not, like that's happening. If you read about that, kind of what you see in the movie is what happens, you know? And I feel like this took elements of that, but sort of flipped it on its head and made it a little over the top. You know what I mean? So I do feel like they could have done this in a way to where, I mean, yeah, like...
I feel like they got more deep into the mythology. I don't even know if that's the right word to say for Catholicism, you know?
Oh, it's the right word.
Okay. I just think there's probably like a bigger word that you can use that kind of like wraps it into one. But
Gotcha.
yeah, but for the most part, like they dive deep into the whole thing about being Catholic and the history of it, you know.
Yeah.
Back to even like Jesus Christ days, and like it's almost like a history movie to like how
National Treasure and shit.
I want to say go that far, but
you know,
almost
what I mean, like something that's something that feels.
You learn a lot in this movie.
You
learned a lot in this movie, especially about this specific demon. You know, Valak.
Right. I'm trying to figure out how to put it, like what I'm trying to say into words. I mean, obviously this is well, I guess both Annabelle movies. I guess both. No, wait. Are both Annabelle movies not just is Creation the first movie that went off away from the Warren stuff, or is technically the first Annabelle movie not a part of that either?
Annabelle Creation was made up, right?
It was the original story.
Yeah.
But I think Annabelle,
but the Annabelle
is still,
story is still
and I think that movie is still the actual.
That's still the actual movie.
So this is the second of the movies that's kind of like, oh well, we're branching off. This has nothing to do with the Warren investigations. It's just something that came
it's
up.
Part of it. It's like a side story.
Right. But I mean, it's not.
It's fan fiction. Basically,
sure.
it's fan fiction.
Well, whereas the Conjuring movies and the first Annabelle are actual from legitimate,
based on their cases,
right? Legitimate cases. This is like something that was birthed from it. But yeah, I'm trying to figure out. Like, I feel like the movie. Yeah, I feel like this movie. Thank you. I feel like this movie walks this line. I don't know how to put it. Like. I think it still stays true to like what the Conjuring, like you leave Conjuring and Conjuring 2 and then even both Annabelle movies and feel like, like, you know, if ghosts are real, if this stuff is legitimate, everything I just saw in that movie I feel like could happen. You know what I mean? Like I feel like if there were hauntings, I feel like it would and could happen. And I feel like this movie follows that same path, but then I also think it combines some stuff to where it's almost like, you know, you're seeing like a monster movie.
It's
at
merging
the same
onto the freeway.
Time. So you know what I mean? Like, you know how there's movies that are like hauntings, and then there's movies where it's just like there's Jason, Michael Myers, like, which is like, okay, I get that those are killers, but you know what I mean? Like a monster movie that's like it's clearly fake. Mm-hmm. And I feel like this movie rides this line where it's like, it's based in reality, but I feel like some of the imagery went sort of monster movie.
Do you feel like that?
Yes, exactly what he just said.
Do you feel like that might be a specific decision to separate the quote side stories from the Warren investigation based movies?
I'd say yes and no, because they actually tie all the movies together.
They do tie
By the time this movie's over, they show something that tied it to the first Conjuring.
That's cool.
So I'd say yes and no.
All right. Yeah, I was like, that's what I was thinking. I was like, you're saying this is the second one that kind of diverges from their cases,
right?
So maybe they're going a little bit more over the top, so it doesn't.
And it could have been that, you know. And like what little I have heard, I actually read something because I got really interested. They're also there's another movie. Like again, this is totally like this is the horror Marvel DC. You know, like they've created this thing. It's amazing. But like another character that shows up in The Conjuring 2 is the Crooked Man, and they're making they're making a movie based on that character.
Like an origin story kind of thing.
I think it is probably something of that, then, which is kind of what this is. This is sort of like what that is too. An Annabelle creation was that.
That's cool.
I think it's fucking awesome. And so what I've read, and again, this is just talk, but James Wan said something that, like, you know, they wanted things to be different. Like, they wanted The Nun to not feel like, I forget what words they used for that, but they wanted that to be a little bit different. And then with The Crooked Man, they want that, they're thinking of having it be like, with Annabelle, it's kind of like it's this doll, like not Chucky-esque, but it's like it's more about this doll that is
the actual
terrorizing you, or whatever, the Annabelle doll that's like terrorizing you and all this other stuff. And then with The Crooked Man, they're thinking like, you know, maybe that movie will have more of like this fairy tale-esque aspect of horror to it. And that's kind of where his head is at with that. And then even to The Conjuring 3, they said there's a script right now, it's being worked on right now, and it's very different from the first two Conjurings, because we've already done the haunted house thing. It's like we can't do another haunted house, and so The Conjuring 3 isn't gonna be that. And so I appreciate that. So I think this movie was different. Not bad. That doesn't mean it's bad. It's just different. So I liked it. I did enjoy it. I can't say it went the way that I thought they would maybe go with this character, you know, with The Nun, because when I've seen The Nun before, and even in this movie again, it's the imagery that went a little monster movie-ish. It's not necessarily The Nun itself.
Right.
But whenever I've seen The Nun prior, it's been in very, like, realistic, like, oh, fuck. Like, I mean, if I woke up and saw that in the middle of the night, like, holy shit. You know what I mean? Like, it's like a terrifying ghost, or whatever you want to call it. Image. But yeah, just different. Like, Rick, you say some stuff now, because I feel like I'm repeating the same thing. But I enjoyed it.
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm just going to pretty much say the same thing he is saying. It's like, pacing-wise, as far as, like, the structure of the story and the way it moved, it moved well, in my opinion. Like, I wasn't bored. Like, I didn't even, like, I lost track of time watching it, which is always good when you're watching a movie. The actors are fucking awesome in this. Everyone in this movie was good. Creepy as hell. Like, the suspense of this movie, build up, was done amazingly well. Amazingly well. Like, just to get up to the scare, you know, even thinking you know what's going to happen, but it doesn't happen, you know, and that's sometimes even the worst part, because you're expecting something that doesn't even happen, and then, okay, we're moving on to the next scene. Some people might not like that. I love that, because we see that shit all the time in regular horror movies, where, like, boom, they're scared. Jump scared. Not necessarily jump scared, but even just like the camera pans and then you see them right there, you know. There is
anticipation can fucking destroy you.
That's the
mentally.
perfect word. That's what I'm trying to get to. That the anticipation to the scares. Get hit right when you don't expect it.
Cool.
At least for me, I felt that way. And
well, no, I mean,
you felt that way too.
Well, like
because like I was like this the entire time.
There's a lot of parts in the movie where, like, you see something when you see something in. I have to stop. Sorry for anyone listening on audio. In the live chat, we have Cheesy, who's a regular of this show right now, and someone just comes in that Cheesy brought in here, and his name is Spicy Pepino. Which isn't that like kind of like, what is Pepino? Isn't that a cheese? I don't know. It's making me. I just think it's funny. There's Cheesy and then Spicy Pepino. Like, that cracks me up.
Cucumber, I believe. Right?
Oh, I don't know. Anyways, whatever. You can let us know what your name means. But there's a lot of parts in this movie too where, like, you might see something in the background and they don't make a fuss of it. But you see it. And there's no dramatic music, there's no whatever. Like, there's a scene happening and then you see something over somebody's shoulder.
And it's not.
And they don't make anything. It doesn't
make that noise
make anything of it.
That normal horror movies make.
The setting of this movie, the imagery of this movie is creepy as fuck. Like, it really is. Like, it's in this. It's an abbey, but it looks like this fucking creepy ass castle.
Like graveyard abbey. Too.
It looks like something like it's set in Romania, like in 1954 or whatever. Like, it has all the, it has all the parts, man. Like, and when this movie was over, and I think this is a good thing. It wasn't that I wasn't satisfied, but I'm not done with this. Like, I don't know what it is. I'm like, the look of this nun is so creepy, and I think they could do so much with it. And, maybe in a way where they stick to it just being more grounded and not so like there's some stuff. I guess there's some parts like where a snake is coming out of some dude's mouth or whatever. Like that's where I said it teetered.
Yeah, that's the stuff that you're not a fan of. Bleeding walls and fucking all that shit. Yeah.
So like you said you hated it what?
The disgustingness.
Oh, it was gross.
It was disgusting.
But there's a lot of concepts in this that were cool. Like, I mean, maybe this is a thing. I don't know much about my history.
That's right.
And it might be a history. Okay. Yeah, so we have cucumbers and cheese in the chat. But anyways, they go to like, there's like kind of like a cemetery of people who have been at the Abbey, who have died or whatever, and they're there. And there's like this thing or this concept. They told the story. I'm going to fuck it up. But basically, they have these bells that are by these gravestones, that are by the headstones or whatever. And
I knew right away what it was when I saw it.
Huh?
I knew right away what it was when I saw it. I've read about those.
So that's a real thing?
Yeah, it's a total real
thing. Okay, so we'll talk about it.
All right, back in like the early like Oregon Trail days, I would say, when they buried people, sometimes they wouldn't know if the person was dead or not. So what they did is when they buried them, they put a string with the bell on top of top of the stone. So you know about that.
Yeah.
And just in case if they were still alive, they're able to ring the bell and oh shit,
yeah,
and not dead.
And it's just like in a horror movie like this, I'm like that's such a fucking cool
that was
thing
a perfect
to introduce.
use for it.
Just the idea.
I forgot about that. That's right.
I don't know. Like there's just this. Didn't you just love the set, like the look of the Abbey itself, like set in Romania? Like it's so.
I don't know
fucking
where
creepy.
they shot this movie, but like
I think
the
it was
set
on,
director or the location scout, like they did a fantastic job.
Nice.
I'm pretty sure it was on location somewhere. I'd have to look it up though.
I'm sure. Yeah. Cyberwee. Thanks for the follow.
Thank you for the follow. We appreciate that. Appreciate you.
Talking about the nun here. Yeah, I love that bell touch. I totally forgot about that. I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah.
That was amazing, which obviously going into it plays out later in the movie too.
Of course. You don't show something like that and then use it.
Right, you don't introduce it.
And there were some things too that happened which I'm like, all right, I know where this is going to go. This is going to happen here. This and this is going to happen, and that's what's going to happen. We get to that part where I'm waiting for it to happen. Technically, it doesn't happen.
Right.
But at the same time, like I was surprised.
Okay.
It was.
You have to tell me what.
I would have to tell you what it is. It's spoiler territory, but I liked the way they handled that a lot.
Yeah. There's a lot of I guess this will be kind of a spoiler, but it's not like a huge thing. But I just like.
Yeah. Spicy Pepino.
Thank you so much, Spicy Pepino, for supporting us. We appreciate that. But
yeah, 40 now.
Like I like simplicity in horror movies, and so to me, like I thought this was really cool. Like kind of close to the beginning. So like we see this nun hang herself, and she gets found by this other guy that's like a main character in the movie too. He finds her, and he takes her body. We find this out later. Frenchie. He takes her body and ends up putting her in, I guess it was kind of like a refrigerator or freeze, like
it was like
room.
A refrigerator. Like
he did like
ground refrigerator.
He's like, I did this, thinking like this would help preserve the body or something or whatever. And so, Thaisa Farmiga, her character, and Sister Irene and Father Burke.
Say it again.
What? Oh. Sister Irene and Father Burke, they come up. They're. I'm losing track. You fucked me up, anyways. And plus, Lewis Crabbe came in and thought this movie was trash, and that's fine. That's totally fine. But anyways, they go to the Abbey. Frenchie takes them there, and he takes them into this freezer or whatever, wherever they were. That's kind of underground because he put the body in there. And they walk down there, and you see the body, and we see the body, and the body's sitting kind of like on this bench, and it's sitting up, but it's like limp like this, and you see him kind of creeped out, and he says, he's like, I have to warn you, like, it's like, he's scared, and so like, that everyone, I think they're asking like other questions, I don't remember, is like, oh, well, I have to tell you something before you go further. That's not how I left her. And I just think like, something so simple like that, I think is awesome, because it's just like, well, I didn't see anything happen. I didn't see anybody move, but the idea or the thought of like putting somebody in a room and you laid them down or whatever, and you come back and they're sitting up and they're not moving. We just see them sitting like that. I love shit like that.
Yeah.
I love shit like that.
when the director can use your imagination to come up with something more fucked up, that's the best part.
Yeah.
But yeah, that part definitely creeped me out too. When
Isn't
you said
that? Yeah. I like that simple stuff, man.
Yeah.
So that's what I appreciate. Louis Crab, I'm sorry, I don't know if it's Louis or Lewis, you could tell me. He said he's the one that just popped in the chat, our chat for anyone listening on audio. It said the movie was trash, but he followed up with that and said, had some good moments, some well-composed shots, but with the demon was being too humanized for my liking, like it was basically having a chat with them towards the end. I think we as the audience should have learned stuff. Okay, blah, blah, blah. Yeah.
Which is fair criticism.
I mean, that's fine.
Yeah.
That's totally fine. Did you, when they go into the Abbey the first time, and there is like a nun sitting in the chair, did you, for some reason, and maybe it just is, but I didn't take that as being Valak.
I didn't either.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because that was gonna bother me. I'm like, I don't want her to have a voice. You know what I mean? So if I find out later that is supposed to be Valak, that might disappoint me like a little bit. You know, like there's this nun that you don't ever see her face, that they're talking to them and making, you know, like saying, oh yeah, you know, they're like, we want to talk to the other nuns here. It's like, oh, well, you can't talk to them right now, but you can go sleep, blah, blah, blah. And it's very creepy. You don't ever see their face, and the voice is kind of creepy. Louis Crab says the old, Louis, okay, I had it right, the old sister. I mean, is that, the old one, and the being in the chair. Like, did you interpret that as being like Valak, or no? Like, you know, I'm pretty sure it was next and everything, all because we're supposed to be. Okay, but I mean,
I think he just
but it could have been like reanimating.
Yeah,
okay, that's fine.
Go. Yeah.
But I mean, I was happy that at some point we didn't see that actual Valak like standing there and talking. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That part is good.
Yeah.
So overall, man, like I said, I'm not disappointed at all. The movie isn't what I thought it was going to be, because like I said, it did like have some moments that were a little like cartoony, I guess, which is something different for this franchise, but I still fucking loved it. Cool. I still thought it was really good. And I don't know, like I know Alexis likes horror stuff. I do not know, like you guys, she should watch the Conjuring movies. I think she would like them a lot. But overall, you too, same thing?
Overall, yeah, I definitely enjoyed it.
Yeah.
And I love the tie-in at the end.
Yeah, the tie-in at the end I thought was really cool. You know, like it wasn't even something they had to do. You know, but they actually did it pretty seamlessly.
It seems like they're going out of their way to do that stuff that they don't have to do with this franchise, I guess you could call it. You know,
it's more natural.
Yeah.
The way that like they came up with the nun and Annabelle, like it more like naturally came about. But I think secretly they had an idea.
Yeah, it feels organic even if it is manufactured.
There you go. Yeah.
With Annabelle, it made a lot of sense. I'm not saying this one it didn't, but I was not expecting any sort of tie-in
with that. Yeah.
With the other movies with this, other than the fact that I know this character has appeared in the later movies.
Right.
I just thought this was gonna be like, oh well, you've seen this nun. Here's her background, and here's the story.
Yeah. So overall, I enjoyed it.
Yeah, cool. I enjoyed it a lot.